Always a delight to have you join us on the program Politics Today, reaching you live on independent television and radio on the ITV network this beautiful Saturday morning. Of course, the most topical issue in the polity today has to do with the removal of fuel subsidy. And that has changed a lot of things in terms of discussions and conversations. Well, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu didn't hide his feelings as it relates to the removal of fuel subsidy, and immediately came on board. That seems to be the order of the day. That's our major talking point on the show today. But let's keep tab with some of the happenings on the political scene. 4 days after he assumed power, President Bola Tinubu yesterday announced his first appointments. He appointed former Benue State Governor Senator George Akume as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation SGF. The President also appointed Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, as the Chief of Staff, and Senator Ibrahim Adeja, a former Deputy Governor of Jigawa State, as the Deputy Chief of Staff. The appointments were made public via a statement by Abiodun Oladunjoye, Director, Information State House, Abuja. According to the statement, the President announced the appointment during the meeting he held with Progressives Governors Forum, PGF, at the Council Chamber Presidential Villa, Abuja. Akume was the immediate past Minister of Special Duties under former President Muhammadu Buhari. And it says, I will work with Tinubu in discharging enormous task ahead. And of course, accepting his appointment, Gbajabiamila, in a brief statement, appreciated Tinubu for finding him worthy, saying, with his 20 years of experience in the National Assembly, he was well equipped for the task ahead. He said, thank you, Mr. President, for finding me worthy of being your Chief of Staff. Having spent the last 20 years in the Nigerian Parliament, and after winning my 6th term election into the National Assembly, I shall work with Mr. President in discharging the enormous task ahead of him for the peace and progress of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The appointment of Femi Gbajabiamila, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, is not a surprise to many because that story has been in the media space for a long time, even though he tried to deny it. Anyway, just keeping tab with some of the latest developments, and so we go straight into our major talking point on the program for today and for this week. Let's meet our panelists. From my immediate left, Gentleman Amego is a grassroots politician, public affairs commentator. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Duke, for having me.
We also have with us here in the studio a former special advisor to the state governor on legal matters, a notary public, constitution lawyer, Sir Adam Saliu. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
We also have with us here a research fellow, author, and politician. I'd like to thank very specially Dr. Bishop Akalame. Thank you for coming.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, viewers.
We have with us here the Executive Director, Canvassers for Democracy and Rule of Law. Is also the Senior Pastor, Hill City International Ministries. Big thanks and big congratulations to you.
Thank you for the
coming.
opportunity.
Congratulations on your 50th anniversary, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, all right. Now, the fuel scarcity removal has been a major talking point. And some are saying now is the time. But others are saying when President Goodluck Jonathan made an attempt to remove this same subsidy, it was as though the heavens were going to fall. Those who came out vehemently against that move by former President Goodluck Jonathan are now the apostle and the proponents of fuel subsidy removal. They are now teaching us, mentoring us, mobilizing us to accept the subsidy. I don't know what part of the divide you belong to, irrespective of the part that I belong to. It's going to be silent as far as this program is concerned. That's my duty, part of my duties as a matter of fact. Well, let's hear from our panelists. As usual, our studio line will be open so you can also have a take on the conversation. Mr. Mego, yeah, subsidy removal. Is this politics or pure economy?
I think it is pure economy. I have been an advocate of subsidy removal for so many years. But I found that all governments now base their failure on subsidy removal. That unless you remove the subsidy, they cannot do well in governance. But others are saying that by the time you block the loopholes, you will not have problem with removing the subsidy. But that we have not done now. Mr. President, Mr. New President, made a broadcast for 46 minutes without ex tempora, ex cathedra. They didn't even look at any paper. And at the time he finished, I was so happy. Said, there he has come. That's the man we've been waiting for. But the following morning, they said the subsidy will not be removed until the 30th of June. But in the evening, NNPC came up to say, this is the new price. I mean, why are you toying with over 200 million people? That's not the way to govern. You will say one thing, as even if it's making you fail, stand by it and give your reasons for taking it. But then let's come to subsidy removal. There are so many areas we can block the loophole to make up for subsidy removal. There are big pipes that have been laid in Delta region, going to the high sea. The government has the capacity to block that. The fuel that the crude oil that they sell to the world, we can block that, and that brings us money. Let somebody just said he's now 9 trillion rich, and he wants to be in government as a governor. For goodness sake, we can call that young banker. Where did you get 9 trillion? 9 trillion can solve our subsidy removal for 1 year. Our subsidy problem. 1 year, that 9 trillion. Okay. How can a young man get up and say, I'm worth 9 million? And EFCC is there, docile. He's not saying anything, he's not doing anything. We're all decorating him. For goodness sake, Duke, anybody that cannot explain more than 1 billion naira in his account should be arrested.
Okay.
That's the only way to solve this problem. Well, we have to remove the subsidy. The reason is that, like I said earlier on, if we don't, the new government again will fail.
Okay. Sir Adam Saliu, subsidy has been a very thorny issue historically, and we've seen this sort of reactions and counter-reactions trailing it. If we had done it much earlier, would it have been better, in your opinion?
Well, it wouldn't have been better in the removal of fuel subsidy ordinarily brings about inflation and recession. When you talk of inflation in macro economics, it means the escalation of prices and commodities. And recession, there will be less productivity, less performance by the industry, and even unemployment. So it will be better. It was not even removed at all. Although those justifying this, the protagonists, they are quoting Benin Republic, 794 per litre, or those Zambia, Zimbabwe, over 8,000 naira, even Ghana, 800 and something. That Africa, all African countries, their prices for petroleum is less, apart from Cote d'Ivoire and Central African Republic that have 600 now. That to the extent that our people now smuggle our fuel here in Nigeria and go and sell that way. So they are thinking if it is removed, we will now be at par. If it is to be at par, it should not be multiplied by 300%. It can go 100%. NNPC was selling for 189, 190. It should go 300 and something. And NNPC even acted malafide, in bad faith. Government is putting a date to put people on notice when the fuel subsidy will take up. NNPC just announced 500, which is about 3 times that. Okay. Very much in bad faith.
Okay. Dr. Akalame, yes, give us your take from the economic perspectives on what strategy would have been best adopted in, implementing the subsidy, removal of subsidy.
Thank you very much, Jukokos. If we look at the economic background and the economic implication of the removal of fuel subsidies, we will discuss it and discuss it. We will not leave here today. But there's still need for us to give the public what they need to know, or even Mr. President, to understand the economic consequences and implication of the policy statement he made on the day of his inauguration. First of all, let's look at the background. Why fuel subsidies? Because many people, majority of Nigerians outside, they don't even understand the concept subsidy. I have seen people justified the reasons which are not even clear to the public why subsidy should be removed. You ask that, they can't tell you anything. Subsidy have to do with government mediation or government intervention to reduce the price of fuel. Okay? By making payment, by making direct payment, financial payment into oil companies to the benefit of everyone, so that we can have fuel at a very subsidized rate.
At a cheaper rate?
At a cheaper rate.
Okay.
It started in 1970. If you look at it very well, why? Because it was as a result of the increase in the global oil price, which the original government now formalized in 1977 with the introduction of what I call the Price Control Act. To date, what we have is that our refineries are in comatose. They are not working. At a point, they were shut down for 6 months, coming from the government. That right now, we want to shut down the refinery, the 4 refineries we have, Warri, Kaduna, and the Port Harcourt. Let's shut that down for maintenance.
Okay.
Now, since we are going to shut down for maintenance, that means we will be refining outside the country. So to cushion the effect of the hardship that people will face in refining this product outside this country, let's pay for subsidies.
Okay.
So the government have been maintaining more than 100% of what we should have paid. That's why we have been getting it at that format. So if you are coming now, you want to remove the fuel subsidy, you cannot put the cart before the horse. You must do the needful. What is the needful? What was the reasons why you introduced fuel subsidies? Other line. We have to look at it. Then the reason is that our refineries are not working. Okay. The people must not suffer. So let's help you for the meantime, so you will not feel it.
Yes.
Now you want to remove them. What we need to do? Because if you are president,
the refineries are still not working.
So right now, the federal government ought to have assured that the refineries are now working. Okay, they are functional. So that's why I said I see the statement made by our president on the first day. I expect the Mr. President to say, now that I've come, I will make sure that our refineries are now functional. Nigerians, the pains and the agony, the annual rituals you go through, queuing up with the free station, buy fuel at a very high rate, will no longer be there. Okay. So by that so doing, we are going to be taking the fuel subsidy gradually so that the people will not feel it. You just enjoy the fuel subsidy is gone. And the following day, you see people adjusting their poor price, which is also called the exhibition of wickedness on the part of Nigerians. Okay. As the president, look at how this go to affect the small businesses and the employment we have in the country. Yeah. Because a lot of, let me say, 80% of Nigeria are self-employed. They are so this is SMS. So if you increase poor price, they may be out of business. Unemployment will come back. Okay,
let me get Reverend Olu Martins. Reverend Olu Martins, you also have a very rich background in economic development policies and stuff like that. We are here now. I've heard people talk about the current challenges globally. Many of the international institutions, the IMF, the World Bank, and the likes, they have continued to say that if Nigeria will survive, we need to do away with fuel subsidy so we can have more resources that will channel into governance, infrastructural development, and what have you. Let's get your take along these lines.
Thank you very much. The Nigerian politician doesn't believe himself. So he's surprised that the populace believe him. The Nigerian people believe him. I say so against the backdrop that I saw a street rally where the immediate past president participated in. And they carried a placard wherein conspicuously read, 65 naira per liter. Is it acceptable? Another one carried another placard in the same rally. Revolution now. Fast forward to barely 8 years after. People are talking about removing subsidy. And I like the background that Bishop Academy has done. Fortunately, I belong to the Edo State Oil Monitoring Committee. And we constantly have interfaced with major and minor marketers. And we must thank the Ministry of Oil and Gas, especially the permanent secretary, who's doing a great work there, Bob and Abulele or something. We're doing a great work there, engaging proactively at that level, because ordinarily, subsidy is in the exclusive clause. So for a state government to say, look, we want to see how we can intervene, it's commendable. However, sir, like Thomas Sankara said, we must choose between champagne for a few or potable water for all. Unfortunately, in this subsidy regime, what we have is champagne for a few. Because what is subsidy? Subsidy is not just landing costs of the petrol. Okay. There are ancillary issues attached to it. The tank farming. Because what NNPC does, who is the sole importer, sir, is that they import, and then there are people who have tank farms that they sell it to. Isn't that interesting to know? That we are told that budgetary provisions have been made till June, sir, for subsidy. What it means is that whatever you are bringing into June has already been
paid for.
Has been paid for. So you don't really need, to pay, for it. Budgetary provisions have been made. And then NNPC came prior to the rumor of eventual removal of subsidies, that they had enough stock
till June.
Don't last us till June. What it meant was that all of the ancillary costs, including trucking, sir, including other logistics, including having to maintain your petrol station, buy diesel, run diesel, pay staff, they are all part of what the subsidy is about. Yeah. NNPC, they had stock till June. So we would expect that the NNPC will not even tinker with the price up until the subsidy, our collective patrimony, had exhausted, because from July upwards, there's no subsidy. Mr. President forgot that this petroleum industry is multi-sectoral, sir. Government is not a government of one person. There is the downstream sector, there is the upstream sector, and then there are oil servicing industries all around the whole thing. So I would have thought that if you're talking about removal of subsidy, you will have first of all been talking about engagement. Let's engage all of the sectors in question. The problem in Nigeria, sir, is that we don't think before we act. We take people to surgery. After we cut them, we ask for anesthetics. Are you not supposed to put in all of the palliatives, in a matter of speaking, intervention before the man goes into surgery? That's right. After you're taking him to surgery, doctors now say, I beg, where injection? The man is dead. So government is not talking about interventions to cushion the effect, because in this country we used to steal what was available. Now we're stealing the future. So we borrowed money from IMF. You know, you borrow money from IMF, borrow money from World Bank and some of these agencies in concern. The borrower is always a servant to the lender. So in ensuring that your borrowing is guaranteed, the borrowing is tied to certain economic decisions. You see, those economic decisions that is prompting World Bank and IMF to say, look, you know what? You must look at the issues of removing subsidy and deregulation. Because if you look at our debt to GDP ratio in this country, isn't that amazing? That as before President Muhammadu Buhari, we were doing a whooping almost 97% of our income to service debt. The money that were borrowed, you ask what was the monies used for. For more than 15 years, we have been doing turnaround maintenance for our moribund and comatose refineries. I am a little bit want. I hope that the government of Tinubu, with all sincerity, will continue to engage him. He's sincere about the subsidy removal. The reason is because it is too close a call. I hope that the stage is not set for a certain refinery that has just been opened, for you to remove subsidy, so that you can have key players come in, so that the man can maximize and benefit from the huge monies he has put into. I say those against the background that when we first of all bought GSMs or SIM cards, we were buying it for 6,000 naira. Because it don't have $50 million, sir, that MTN and those companies paid. People thought that they should first of all quickly recoup it before it became cheaper. So I am afraid that I hope this is not a plan, so to speak, so that the refinery has just been opened, because we're hearing Bua after after Dangote
Also
wants
angling to
open. So I hope that somebody is not trying to give a monopoly to a certain individual.
All right, Barrister Pego, we are here now, and as is always the case, this will dominate our discussions for days and for weeks. Some have described this as the worst gift Mr. President could have given to Nigerians, against the background that it just came on board. Already, Labour is preparing to go on strike by Wednesday next week. Isn't this a very, very bad omen for this government?
Yeah, but however bad it is, or it seems, we have to brace up with it. You see, that is the problem in Nigeria. Now, these young men have said, by Wednesday, we are going to go into the street. And everybody is keeping quiet now. Nobody is trying to invite them for a dialogue until we go into the street, until they go into the street. Now that they have spoken, we should invite them very quickly, because we don't want strike. The type of strike we have in Nigeria is a destructive type of strike, not like the one they have abroad. Because when these young ones come into the street, they destroy government properties, and the same government parties, we will need money also to rebuild. To avoid that, we should call the labor people now and explain to them the attitude of government is derisive. Call them, explain to them why we are thinking of removal of subsidy. Well, all they are saying now is that we will look into salaries of human. Is it now you are looking to salary? You are saying 30,000 for a worker in Nigeria. And then you are saying a liter is 555 a liter. How do you? Because I have said to you before, any government in this country that pays less than 100,000 for any worker, that government is insane, and God will ask him. I see policemen on the street. I dash them money because I hear they don't get up to 100,000 a month. In this situation we are now, we are going to go deeper into, I don't want to call it malnutrition, deeper into problems. Because right now you are going to Supply Road, you need 500. You are going from Supply Road, you need 500. So how can our people who earn 20-something thousand, 30, how can they survive? For goodness sake, those who are there, they should wake up now and save the situation in this country. It's painful, sir. It's very painful. Because I see a cloud of problems. I don't know whether you see. I see, if we have to allow these boys to go into the street on Wednesday, nobody knows the consequences of it. And where it will end, nobody knows. So we ask the government now to call these boys and dialogue with them. Explain to them, human beings, explain to them. And
okay.
I don't know.
All right, so Adam Saliu, let's President Bola Tinubu, before he came on board, said repeatedly that he was going to remove fuel subsidy.
Yes.
But he didn't tell us what he was going to do to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal, or what plans he has in place to tackle the refinery. Just like the foundation laid by Dr. Bishop Akhalame a while ago, the subsidy removal was predicated on the realities at the time. But somehow it was manipulated because people were benefiting from it, and it has been sustained over the years. Now it's been removed. It doesn't look like a structure has been put in place to address it. We just have Dangote Refinery that has been inaugurated. I mean, it was recently inaugurated as the only one that is operational. Edo State Modular Refinery, we also hear is coming on stream. And we heard about all of these, as integral information that came forth during the President Muhammadu Buhari's era, but they really never materialized. What's your take on all of this seeming haphazard approach to dealing with these issues, so that we can cushion the effect of the subsidy removal on the life of the average Nigerian?
Well, Nigerians, including myself, we are sentimentally flabby. Here is a president, his valedictory speech, his acceptance speech. It was his maiden speech that he tried to stir the honestness. Could he not have waited for June 12, which is now a Democracy Day, or October 1, Republic Day, or New Year Day, January 1. Every week are falling. So Nigerians were hit below the belt. That is very fair. People were jumping up and down.
Yes.
He had prepared for a long time, former senator, former governor, former Nadeco. He has achieved his life's ambition, only to hear from his inaugural. So the timeliness is very worrisome. As for the notice given by the workers, as the penultimate speaker has said, government should dialogue with them, because if there is total lockdown by the LSC, there will be economic setback for the country. No school will open. Schools, NUT, they are teachers, they are part of the NLC. Banks, where you collect money, fee, bank workers are part of NLC. And even the civil servants, administration will grind to a halt. And we have missed enough economically during the era of strikes.
Exactly.
And not only that, we can equally be giving enough notice to say, as from such and such a time, there will be removal of fuel subsidy, it will now be 1 million per litre.
Okay.
So people can now prepare, have a long time to prepare. But now, no notice. Government is saying one thing, talking of June 30, NNP is increasing for May 30. Well, and there's no cohesion. So palliatives, we are not seeing them. We are not told that they are being put in place. The refinery, one private one took off, but government should equally put more refineries themselves to cushion the effect.
Okay.
Without this, people will continue to grumble because the timeliness is very much in bad face.
All right, Dr. Kalame, if for whatever reason the government changes its mind in postponing the subsidy removal, wouldn't that be tantamount to postponing the evil day, against the background that we've had this series of postponement, for several years and many times, and anytime we do that, it looks like, if we had known, we probably would have done it much earlier. Then again, interface that with the plan by government to spend about $800 million to ameliorate the plight of 50 million Nigerians, just to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. Yes, Dr. Kalame.
It's very sad that we be craving to have a very responsible and proactive government. I just hope that we'll see that in the leadership of Alhaji Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Because what Nigeria actually needs is creative and innovative governance. That is what we want. Now, if the federal government decides not to remove fuel subsidies, sir, we are not postponing the evil day. What we actually have is that we have a government who has what is called misplaced priority. They have failed to do the needful. They have failed to do what is expected of them to do. Bishop Akanala will not do it for them because I am not the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But I do know what is expected of Mr. President to do to ensure that every Nigerian begin to wear smile while they are walking on the road. Sir, if our refineries are not working and you want to remove first subsidies, that means you are not ready. Let me tell you something. Do you know to build the size and the capacity of the refinery we have today in Port Harcourt, in Kaduna, and in Warri, we need about $8 billion to do that. So, if we must build in Warri, build in Port Harcourt, build another one in Kaduna, that means we need about $24 billion to build new 3 refineries in the country. Mr. President, the former President Muhammadu Buhari brought out how much? $25.6 billion for maintenance of the 3 refineries. Until today, they're not working. Where is the money?
That's right.
Corruption in this country is oversized. We know it's in everywhere, but we don't know where that of Nigeria is just the way it is today. I don't want us to rely on Alhaji Dangote refinery. That is private refinery. The man is a business. And I have done the research on him. I discovered that he is the kind of person that enjoys monopolistic power. He does not need a rival. He does not need a competitor.
He has cement.
Yeah, I bought.
He has sugar.
I personally bought.
He has fuel.
I bought cement, 5,000 naira. Throughout this year, last year, it even now we are even getting 4,700, 4,800. I bought cement about 5,000 naira.
Yes, I did not say.
Who is competing with him? He doesn't need it. During the time of what do you call it, Dasa and the other fruit juice, if you see any competitor, he loves to give way. So if he has established a refinery that took him about $20 billion US, that is money that a politician will just steal. The FCC will invite him, question him, will not hear anything about it again. So if they want to, if they don't see, this is the only thing the common man even benefits from the government that we can even see with article eyes that we are even benefiting. Duke Okosu, we don't enjoy electricity. We don't have power.
Water.
The people have resorted to self-help. They provide water for themselves. They provide water for themselves. They provide power for themselves. Today they even may change their roads by themselves. They go on with start road, they will never finish it. They look at the Auchi road today. The drivers have resorted to self-help. They are the one trying to put maintenance on it to ensure that they can use the road. Where is the government? Don't we have a government? The reason why we have government is to do for us who cannot do for ourselves. Okay. Now, the government has abandoned us. The only thing that the poor people enjoy, they want to take it away. When they have not done the needful, they need, if they must remove fresh subsidy without building new refineries for us, they need to cut the cost of governance.
All right, we'll get to that point, but let's establish the fact that we have a new government in place led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So we do have a government in place, and it would be too early to say the government has abandoned us. It's a government that is new, and we need to also give them time to think through all that has been done by the previous administration, bringing their own policies and programs on board, and see how it will cascade into the lives of the average Nigerian. We're looking forward to that. So we do have a government in place. We need to establish that point. But let's get you in, Reverend Olu Martins. The president told us during his inaugural speech that the subsidy removal will take effect from June 30th. About 24 hours after that speech, filling stations changed the prices of changed the pump price of petrol. So I'm wondering if it was the president who did that, because there's a problem of leadership, no doubt.
That's right.
But you also have the problem of followership. But leadership has a responsibility to chart a course, a way for the followership. That's why I was a bit really excited with the press release by Edo State government that if you hoard fuel, your land allocation will be revoked. Let's take it off from there. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me say first of all is that government is not old. The administration is new, but government is a continuum. Okay. It's old. As a president, you would acquire both asset and liabilities. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown and the face that bears the frown. I will not be patient with any government. I voted you to perform magic.
You can't.
And so you must do it. So like they say, if the smoke in the kitchen is too much, what do you get out of there? If you become too patient with government, that's why we allow them to do the things that they do. However, sir, is it not surprising that any time government talks about removing subsidy or looking for money, they always come to the masses. When is government going to remove subsidy that they used to subsidize our profligate politicians who live ostentatious life?
That's true.
Go to one of the best hotels in Abuja. Their 10th floor is, the food is served a la carte. The best of the meals. Check there, that's where the ministers are. There are people in that hotel who have suits locked down for the whole year. The president still has 11 jets, 11 planes in his presidential fleet. not to talk about over 200 state-of-the-art cars under the president. We have a state-art clinic where 20 billion is budgeted every year, and the president, the wife of the just exited president, said there are no drugs in them. We have senators who are earning money and eating food with both hands. When are we going to subsidize the ruling class? When are we going to visit the Stephen Orosaye report, sir, that has said reduce the overhead of running government by merging ministries together? We don't need more than 17, 18. Is it not surprising that the immediate past Minister of State for Labour says that Minister of State
it's
is
illegal.
Unconstitutional.
It's unconstitutional.
Okay, man. After enjoying it for 8 years.
Yeah.
You see the character of the people that we have. So what government must do, sir, is confidence building. Does it make sense to explain to my children that from henceforth is Pomon we are going into? When I have a girlfriend, I'm subsidizing outside. So if government wants to show that it is serious, they first of all have to begin from home. Joyce Banda, sir, former president of Malawi, sold the only private jet this country had and 60 Mercedes-Benz under the presidential fleet. Sold it because he said the country was too poor to maintain that kind of living. Here, we are borrowing money to pay salaries. And then when we say let's subsidize, we say the people should tie up. The days are going to be challenging. There's no governor in this state, maybe the Edo State governor who is a bit conservative, that uses less than 8 convoy cars, 8 cars in their convoy. Multiply that by 36. The deputy governor 5, multiply that by 36, so 13. Not to talk about the vehicles that senators will use. No senator now will use 2022 or 2000. They will do 2024. The one the white man is still thinking about creating is the one that they will import, and they will not import from Inosun. They will import from Toyota. We have senators who their senator what they wear are imported materials. So you see the kind of reckless ruling class that we have. So I was excited too when the state government made that statement. Fortunately, I was on the field led by the permanent secretary, Oil and it's amazing how quickly people change their prices. But do you blame them? The truth of the matter is that government has the responsibility. Human beings are terrible human beings. It is laws and the constitution that guides, human beings. However, let's look at simple accounting. It's called last in, first out, or first in, first out. And the president of Nigeria is powerful. If you are in a conference and the president, you stretch forth your hand to greet the president and he looks away. DSS, he didn't say anything. Yes. DSS will move you out of that venue. In this country, sir, it's called body language. I'm aware a president has spoke with his mouth. The president's word, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is law. If he has said it, he has said. Except that same president says otherwise. Everybody will revert their meter because all of the other factors responsible economically we also change immediately. Because the guys must, if they sell their products, they must take that same product back to the market to buy. So if they're not able to go back to buy, then they have a problem. So the major problem for me was NNPC, that all of the products. So NNPC, if you check, you can look at your phone. Look at what the depot in Ogara is selling as of today. Look at what the depot in Wadi is selling as of today. And some of the products in those depots have been subsidized because they also bought it from NNPC. NNPC is so important. They have been subsidized. There's no depot now that is selling for less than 450 naira. I mean the government, so I have some of these issues at my disposal. I'm not talking about trucking. Look at what is happening at the Benin Sapele Road. To move a product from Ogara here is 350,000 naira, 33,000 liters. If you take a little bit further to Warri, it's almost 500,000. To Benin, I'm not talking about taking it to Poma. I'm not talking about taking it to Ogara. I'm not talking about taking it to Auchi. So while we are even reading the book of Lamentations here, if you go to Ogara and some of Okoko Edo, they are reading the book of Lamentation Plus because it is worse, for them there. And that's why for me, I think that the president, you can be sincerely wrong. I think in this particular matter, he was sincerely wrong. Okay. Nobody is against subsidy. Okay. We're simply saying that charity must begin at home. Government should remove all of the subsidies that exist in the ministries, all of the overhead in running ministry, all of the subsidies. I mean, a senator has millions for newspaper. Why can't he go online? Must he buy the hard?
All right, that's
so those are the areas they should first of all look at before they come and tell us.
That seems to be Labour's position, that if we must go on this trajectory of subsidy, we must also look at the issue of reducing cost of governance. Let's ventilate our views along these lines.
In fact, even in Africa now, there are a lot of young countries, we call them small countries. They have look at Rwanda, for example. I have been there. In the evenings, you see the president of Rwanda driving all alone, everywhere in Rwanda. No minister in Rwanda flies a first class now.
Thank you, sir.
No minister flies a first class. And they have just sacked 17 Chinese companies. Said they were using the Rwandese, whatever you call them, wrongly as slaves and all that, leave our country. You know, because of his size, people dread him there in Rwanda. And things are moving. He comes down, he joins those people who are packing debts. He does everything, and people are hailing him. When you give money, when you tell your child at home, this is the way to do it, the child will do it exactly that way. But when you wear your suit, talk from your air conditioner, and say, hey, Peter, go and do that, he will just be laughing at you. So that's why I agree with Martin and say, charity must begin from home. The president himself has no jets. There's no jet, there's no government jet in Rwanda. He flies planes too by himself. I mean, he goes into the aircraft by himself with his briefcase, and then he stays in the economy. Here, who can, if you go into the aircraft, between here and Abuja, 35, 40 minutes, you see our young men all in the small first class. And we are going to come down at the same time. This is what the president must do to cut down the cost of governance. It is embarrassing. Do you see how, as soon as somebody becomes a senator, he destroys his old house. He builds a new one. He flies personal jets now. Go to Abuja and Lagos and see the private jets that are there. Private jets. The white man that came to see me, I went to see him, he said, but Nigeria, you are very rich. Look at private jets everywhere. He said it's 300 million. Sorry, 3 million to fly from Lagos to Benin. Person in Benin will just make a phone call. They bring a jet for him. He pays 300 million.
3 million.
I'm sorry, 3 million. And the EFCC, for Christ's sake, where are they?
EFCC cannot just go after anyone
EFCC
without evidence.
Me, sir, yes. If you are in London,
yes,
EFCC and other people, if you want to withdraw £1,000, the
IRS,
the manager of the bank will invite you to his office. You have to explain why you want to withdraw. I mean, £1,000
or pounds.
Whereas we can withdraw 300 million here, 500. The people, like you said, everybody must get involved in the sanity we are talking about. We have to do this. Everybody must be involved. I just told you of a governor who said he's 9 trillion rich because he was a bank officer. Emefiele could make you a billionaire in 3 weeks if you were close to him. Now, why are we looking at that person who wants to become governor of Zamfara? 9 trillion. I'm not talking of billion. A young boy. His assets and his cash in the bank is 9 trillion. And we are clapping for him.
All right.
So,
yeah.
Except you have to wake up yourself to go and look for such a man so that he would tell you how to make that. Because it's very sad, sir. Talking seriously.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
If you are working, how can you ever save? Do you have 5 million in your account? Can you save it? It's so difficult. We are civil servants. You can save it.
Okay. All right. Sir Adam Saliu, I know that in the previous administration, Buhari made the promise to look at 3 key issues. Three. Anti-corruption, the economy, and insecurity. It doesn't seem like there is a clear-cut definition of the trajectory of this government. Are you concerned about that, Mr. Adam Saliu?
Well, if you use Muhammadu Buhari's past regime as a barometer, you know he incorporated petroleum ministry to his own presidential job. He became the minister of petroleum. And strictly speaking, when he went back to Daura, people are even saying that the house he had is not befitting. There are no signs and wonders.
No,
So as an individual, he may not be corrupt per se, but what of his lieutenants, ministers, senators, governors? I was happy when I had a week after the coronation of Prince Charles, the Archbishop of Canterbury, who is the Catholic equivalent of Pope, the highest person among the Shemuels Protestant Anglican bishop. He was seen driving a Volkswagen car.
Yes.
Archbishop of Canterbury. When the queen died, he must be the one to bury. When the dying state is his job, if it was Archbishop of Canterbury that took over performing in the Anglican church when he broke away from Rome, he has a Volkswagen car and he drives by himself. A week after performing Charles' inauguration last month, very topical, for a year now, you are free of cars. So the president, from available evidence, does not have Islamic property in Daura, in Lagos or Abuja. But his left hand, he kept quiet. He acquiesced. And if you keep quiet, silence
gives consent.
So until we try people who are corrupt to be example to others, political office holders will continue to exploit us. This cheap fuel was what every poor man was enjoying. 100 naira from Ring Road to Sapledo. It's now 500 naira.
Okay,
So
okay.
Don't exonerate him.
All right,
Because if the
Dr.
sector
Kalame.
cannot hold,
Dr.
things will fall
Kalame,
apart.
we have other products in the petroleum matrix that have been deregulated. You're talking about kerosene, you're talking about diesel, and we know what the prices are today. Yes, quickly talk to us along those lines.
Prohibitive.
Are these ones justification? Are they justification for fair subsidy removal as well?
Well, if you look at what happened there, when government deregulated that area, the diesel and the kerosene, if you look at Nigeria, they are very smart. They take advantage of the technology. Some have moved on. Some now use gas in their homes. They don't even use the kerosene again. So let the government drink the kerosene. If you come to the diesel, those people who were using diesel before they deregulated the price, they converted their car to fuel.
To gas.
Yes.
To gas and the rest. So now,
save money.
to save money. But what I want to tell Nigeria is that a time ago, I saw when they were discussing about vehicles that make use of solar,
Yeah.
Electric cars.
electrical. So I believe that even when this comes, it will be very far beyond the reach of the common Nigerian. And don't forget that according to the United Nations, that more than 130 million Nigerians are living in multi-dimensional what? Poverty. So in such a country, making such economic policies, what we need to do is to look at the economic reality that will play out the consequences of this. Sir, let's be realistic and talk to ourselves. I think that is the purpose of this program, so that Mr. President can hear. I listened to Femi Falana when he was depositing. I smiled. And he said it is even illegal for the NNPC to fix price for the for fuel when we have the Price Control Act, which was brought into existence by Olusegun Obasanjo. Now, Mr. President is the only one that have the government is the only one that have the right to fix price. Now he has no executive in place. He's the only one there. So where are we discussing?
And he has not fixed the price.
He has not fixed the price.
In line with the act.
Yes.
Now let me address the area my friend discussed just now. We're talking about the people.
Okay.
President made a comment. The following day money, price of petrol was almost 600 naira.
Yes.
The problem Nigerians are having is core moral values. We have trashed them over the years. Truthfulness, integrity, hard working, all these things are no longer in existence. The government has a role to play in this, in promoting core moral values. That when you are doing something, your culture will say, this thing I'm doing is wrong.
Okay.
What is the problem? The problem is that we have groomed ourselves to this reality that in Nigeria, the only value we have is money. How many cars does it have? Nobody is thinking about taking the torchlight of civilization to the next generation. What impact are you making in your generation?
Okay.
What we want to do is that Nigerians have become takers, not make one added values. That's what we are today.
All right, Reverend Olu Martins.
Present, sir.
Give me your final take on this, particularly against the background that this doesn't look like something that is going to be reversed. We're already in it, and it's about how to manage it so it doesn't escalate and become a challenge for the new government that is still at its infancy stage. Quickly.
Yeah, and I worry for the government because the government is trying to copy William Ruto of Kenya. William Ruto on his inaugural speech also removed subsidy. And by the way, almost all of the major presidential aspirants before now had also said that they're going to remove subsidy. The only thing was the methodology and the strategy. Yes. And if you know anything about, medicine, especially with psychological medicine, if you have an addict who takes maybe 10 ounces, for instance, of hard drugs, what do? Is gradual removal. You don't stop him from taking 10 ounces. He will die because there will be too much reaction. So you have, withdrawal syndrome. I'm afraid that even though NNPC has said this is deregulation, what they have done is more of price fixing than deregulation. It is now that NNPC is saying that we will give people license to import, the product. Now, why didn't you give people license? And then when I watched Mele Kyari in one, of your sister station, a question was asked, how did you arrive at 511? The guy said he doesn't want to boss. Please, boss, let us listen to it. There are a lot of things that need to be. Electricity, do you know if we had constant electricity, we would need to consume less of petroleum products, including diesel. Yeah. But when there's no light, when the roads are bad, you spend so much time in traffic, you go back to
let's take
what fella is talking about.
We have our first caller here. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Go ahead with your contribution. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is John Bosco, calling from Benin.
All right, John Bosco, go ahead, please.
Okay, I want to first of all appreciate all your panelists there.
Thank you.
They have really spoken well. And to me, the problem we have in Nigeria today is that we Nigerians, we are not sincere to each other. We are far from sincerity. All we are after is money. We don't care how the money comes, even if it's legally or illegal. They will celebrate you. In order to go further, our new president, he was talking about fuel subsidies. To look at it from a clear perspective, when they go broke, they will fall back to the masses.
Okay.
To me, I see they are even reaping the masses.
All right, that's the much we can take from you, so we can have more calls.
He was going
08077770300. That's our studio number. You can dial the number right now, so you can be part of the program. Hello, caller. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on Politics Today.
Nigeria.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. This is Sonny. I'm calling from Airport Road.
Yes, Sonny Gadusa, please go ahead.
I want to say that I am grateful for Nigeria. For once, I can sleep and not think about whether I will sleep for tomorrow. I want to beg Nigerians, if you can buy full tank, buy. If you cannot buy full tank, buy half tank. If you cannot buy half tank, buy 1 liter. If you cannot buy 1 liter, park your vehicle or park your bike. Because all the suffering that we have suffered in Nigeria, it never got to the rich. It has always been the poor that suffered. When there was coronavirus, it was the poor that suffered. When NC go on strike, it is the northern Nigeria that will still suffer, not them. So we must do our best. I don't want my life to be subsidized. The only question I would like to ask now, what names are they going to remove now? Since subsidy is gone from fuel. We don't going to remove our lives now that subsidy is gone for fuel. The only thing that begs Mr. President is to look inward. If they say subsidy exists, men and Jews are provided for, and the Mele Kyari came out and said there is no be paid. I think that man should be fired because he was in office when they said that they are making promotion for May and June.
Okay.
He didn't come out of defense and say that he was not paid. So I think that man should be fired because he's not suffering what others are suffering.
Okay.
I think the last lister, let's beg Mr. President, let us do that we do better. They need to put it in order so that Nigeria is not going to suffer what they are suffering right now.
Thank you very much, Sonny Gadosa. Your views are well noted. 08077770300. That's our studio number. Good morning, caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Duke. Yeah, my name is Comrade Abi. I'm calling from Benin.
Yes, Comrade Abi, please make it quick. Go ahead.
I just want to say Nigerians, we need to apologize to former President Goodluck Jonathan. These are the same people that came out from the street that were saying there's nothing like fuel subsidy. So who is not fully who?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Comrade Abi. That's a very powerful statement. A very short, powerful statement. Thank you. 08077770300 is our studio number. Good morning, caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good
Hello,
morning.
Mr. Duke. Good morning.
Yes.
My name is Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful, go ahead, please. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Benin.
Yes, go ahead.
That the same people that said fuel subsidy is a scam, they are the ones saying that they remove fuel subsidy. They are saying that they are going to remove fuel subsidy to channel it to another place. The subsidy they removed from diesel, where did they channel it to?
Okay.
The fuel subsidy they removed from kerosene, where did they channel it to? So all this subsidy, for me, there is no subsidy at all. For me, there's no subsidy. So it's just a conduit pipe where they are siphoning these country resources.
Okay, our time is up. It's always a great time when you have such a lovely conversation with views, opinions, and perspectives coming up strong. Fuel subsidy, whether we like it or not, is now in place based on the recent development. But we're hoping that the government of the day will swing into action and take decisive steps to reduce the effects of subsidy removal on the lives of the ordinary Nigerians. Until that is done, the back and forth, the controversy surrounding will continue. I want to say big thanks to all our panelists today. Reverend Olumatis, thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Bishop Akalame, thank you for coming. Sir Adam Saliu, we appreciate you. But gentlemen, I'm delighted to have you.
Thank you, comrade.
Thank you, everyone, for making the show a huge success. My name is Sonny Duke, of course, and we'll be with you again next week, Saturday, with a fresh package of the program. Till then, stay blessed and bye for now.